I was aware of like Bitcoin and Ethereum, but I had never really like looked into it that deeply. And then about a year later, I saw the Charles Hoskinson interview with Lex Friedmen, and as well as his TED Talk and his whiteboard video. And then I sort of got inspired by the potential of cryptocurrencies and how it could like help people in developing countries.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. My name's Sam. I'm one of the co-founders of ZenGate Global, where we're building the Palmyra ecosystem. And today I'm joined with a special guest and familiar face to many, Luca, who's our lead blockchain developer at ZenGate Global. Welcome, Luca.
Hi, Sam. Happy to be here.
Awesome. Just to kick things off, Luca, I'd love for you to just have a bit of time to introduce yourself to the community and to the listeners. You had a whole life before coming over to the ZenGate team, worked on all sorts of different projects, studied all sorts of different things adjacent and completely unrelated as well to blockchain. But please let us know a little bit about your background and how you got involved.
Oh yeah, sure. So I graduated from university around 2 years ago. I studied physics and computer science at McGill in Montreal.
Mhm.
Um, my undergrad project was related to cryptography, and at the time I didn't understand the connection to like blockchains at all. I was aware of like Bitcoin and Ethereum, but I had never really like looked into it that deeply. And then about a year later, I saw the Charles Hoskinson interview with Lex Friedmen, and as well as his TED Talk and his whiteboard video. And then I sort of got inspired by the potential of cryptocurrencies and how it could like help people in developing countries. Um, yeah, and that's when I sort of took a more serious interest in like working in the blockchain space. Uh, I started off since my background is in like physics and computer science, I was like interested in the research aspect of it. So I wasn't necessarily just looking at the top 10 like cryptocurrencies and then picking which one I was going to develop, like work on based on like market cap. I was really interested in like the science behind it. Um, so that's why I was that's what led me to Cardano, and then eventually Ergo because Charles Hoskinson mentioned it in the interview with Lex Friedman, and then I had read the Ergo Manifesto written by Alexander Chevrnoy, the founder of Ergo, and I found that even more inspiring. Yeah, and so I focused more on Ergo development and proof of work, and yeah, that's how I ended up here. And then I ended up meeting Dan and ended up getting an internship at ZenGate, and that's how I'm here now.
You have spent before we met, Luca, you spent a number of years developing on the Ergo blockchain, and the Ergo blockchain, like Cardano, is a UTXO based blockchain. And I'm just curious, like, what sort of stuff were you working on? Maybe you could let the guys and the people listening hear a little bit about some of the stuff that you've built and the tooling that you've built to contribute to sort of the development of Ergo and the adoption of Ergo.
Yeah, sure. So initially, when I got involved with Ergo, I joined they had just a group of people who were working on a zero interest loans project called Excel or Ergoland. They had started this project called DECO, which is like short for decentralized collaboration. Basically, like an online course, you'd meet up like once a week, and they would like go over UTXO concepts like Ergo script, which is like the smart contract language for Ergo, and just explain like concepts for Ergo development, like how to design protocols using the UTXO model and so on. So I joined that, and then after that, I actually got an internship at ErgoPad based on like my like how well I did in the DECO program, um, and that was my first like real foray into like professional development on Ergo. Um, and then I also had my own side projects at the same time that I participated in Ergo Hack. don't remember if it was I think it was Ergo 3. It was called Guap Swap. So I partnered up with two miners who like knew more about mining than I did because I never was able to set up my own miner at the time. And it was basically a tool that would let miners once they get their payout from the mining pool, they could then just swap it directly on the Ergo DEX to get like a token that whatever token they wanted. So that was the version 1, and then version 2 is still in progress, which would let you just basically split up your payout so you get like multiple tokens, not just one. So you get like different percentages. And then after like about a year, I became like a TA at Deco, where I was helping teach the courses, and that's where I met another student at the time who joined the second cohort, Shishir, who's also my colleague at ZenGate. And we partnered up to create a NFT minting project called Lilium, which basically just lets people like they can upload metadata for their NFT collection, and then it would let them set up an NFT sale. And what was cool is it was like a minting on demand. So we don't have to pre-mint all the tokens ahead of time. They get minted at a time that the user wants to buy it. And we're able to do this because Ergo has this data structure called AVL trees. So we can store like all of the metadata in there and then just reference the ones we want whenever we mint the token at the time the user wants to buy it. And you can basically store like almost like practically unlimited data you want in there. So it's like really, really useful. Yeah, and then we've a bunch of other projects as well, like Phoenix Finance for HODL coin, and then as well as other things we're trying out, like Moria, which is supposed to be like a multi-sig management project. Yeah, and then as well as Gluon, which is a stablecoin protocol that I'm working on as well.